Hello, and welcome to episode 5 of the Mindful Bullhorn. I'm your host, Justin Whitowich, CMO at Borshoff, where it's our purpose to help brands make an impact. Just a quick reminder, if you're watching on YouTube, please hit the like and subscribe button, even share it with your friends and colleagues if you'd like. Today, we're connecting with Roger VanDerSnick, Chief Sales and Marketing Officer with our hometown team, the NFL's Indianapolis Colts. Let's go. Roger, hello, welcome to the program. We're so excited to have you here.
Thanks, Justin. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we're all ramping up for football season, getting ready for another great year of Colts football. I'm really looking forward to diving in and learning more about what you have in store for the season this year.
Yeah, excited to be here. We got a lot to talk about, so let's jump into it.
All right. Well, first question, what are some of your first and favorite memories of football?
I think, like a lot of people, I was really into sports as a kid. My dad was into sports, very active at an early age in schools and other leagues, and so I just remember gravitating to football and really having a passion for it. It's been with me really almost my entire life.
Did you play as a kid?
I did.
Yeah.
I played early. I played high school, and then I played college as well.
Nice. That's awesome. Where did you grow up? Were you a Colts fan when you were growing up?
Well, I actually grew up central Indiana, just north of here, up near the Anderson area, in a real small town called Frankton, and wasn't a Colts fan because the Colts weren't here.
Right.
So at that point in time, you were either a Bengals fan or a Bears fan. And long story short, my uncle coached Kenny Anderson in high school, and so Kenny was a star quarterback for the Bengals, and so we became Bengals fans early on.
Okay. So growing up in Indianapolis area, you know, you've been here or aware of what's going on in Indianapolis for a long time, and certainly with the Colts since 2017 now. Who do you feel have been some of the more influential players for the Indianapolis Colts, past and present, and why?
Sure. I think if you think about the whole franchise, and you reflect that we've been here now, this will be our 41st season. We've been here, many years, several years longer than we were in Baltimore, and so we've really had 4 decades to kind of set the history here. And I think if you think about the franchise since then, you really give the Irsay family a tremendous amount of credit for making a courageous move, doing it in a way that was fairly quick under trying circumstances, and then establishing quickly the team and being embraced by the entire Indianapolis market. It's a wonderful story to follow. And then you kind of follow the team through a few years, without, I don't want to miss any players, so maybe I'll just kind of highlight Peyton, right? Sure. You can't really not talk about Peyton Manning and the impact that he had on the Colts and taking them to a sustained level of competitive excellence on the field, winning a Super Bowl, and frankly, with that success, helped the ability to build the next stadium. And so as we went from the RCA Dome or Hoosier Dome to Lucas Oil Stadium, was very instrumental in that. And then you kind of, when you're at the games, you kind of reflect back and you look up at the Ring of Honor, and what you'll see is an amazing set of athletes, both on the offensive side and the defensive side, that have really been a key part of the history and the legacy of the Colts. And in fact, we'll have another Ring of Honor announcement, and we'll celebrate that this season coming up. So we're excited about adding another player.
Can't wait to see who you unveil as the next honoree. Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, you said it right. I mean, Peyton Manning in this market was just a game changer for NFL, for the Indianapolis Colts. What an impact he's made in our market. Absolutely.
Yeah, I just, the fan following really, really starting to elevate the team. The commitment to preparation and training, it's legendary in terms of how he would prepare and how he would prepare the team along with the coaching staff. So that really was a key landmark, as you say, not just for the Colts, but also for the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to go a little bit backwards in your career before we come full circle to where we're headed in 2024 and 2025. Looking at your resume, you spent a lot of time at Proctor Gamble. Obviously, they set the standard for CPG marketing and branding and you were there for about 15 years as a brand
Yes.
manager.
Yes.
What were some of the brands that you were working on? What were some of the challenges that you faced helping grow some of these brands and bring them to market?
Sure. It was interesting. I actually spent maybe 5 or 6 years. I'm a mechanical engineer by school, and did that in Procter Gamble, and was able to then work my way over into the marketing area and work my way back up the brand management function. And I was always in the paper division, which is fascinating from a technology and a cost standpoint. Just the capital required to produce paper is fairly significant. So it's a complex but yet interesting field to work in. And then from a marketing standpoint, I was Puff's brand manager, facial tissue product, and as well as then Bounty brand manager, Bounty paper towels. And I know you know this from being in the space. We had product superiority, an amazing advertising insight. We had dominant positions at the retail level, enormous marketing budgets. It was a lot of fun to lead that. Now, the emotion attached to selling and marketing paper towels is not anywhere near what sports was, and I guess that's probably one of the reasons why I got into sports. But what I learned at Procter Gamble was amazing. It's just a machine in terms of training and development, not just on the technical sides about how to be a marketer, but also just on the leadership side and coaching and development and building organizations. And so I would never change anything about that. It was instrumental.
It's a great background and a great experience to take into whatever you want to do in a career in marketing and branding and even sales.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's talk about the transition from CPG and moving into sports marketing. And you started your career in sports marketing and motorsports. Tell us a little bit about that.
I did. P&G is typically recruited highly from, and so you field a fair number of calls from corporate recruiters, and got one that was kind of interesting to me was a chance to get into sports. I grew up around cars. I wrenched on my own cars. I loved racing, and so the chance to go over and be the first employee on developing the brand and consumer marketing group for NASCAR was compelling to me. And so that's how I kind of broke in. It's a little unique in that I was able to get into sports not at the entry level, but more of the leadership level. So that was attractive, and it just worked out terrific. It was able to take a lot of my CPG insights in terms of consumer understanding and measurements and quantitative assessments and apply it to the NASCAR side, more on the sales side. So I was always on the buy side when I was at Procter Gamble, and one of the things I detested was people and opportunities to come and buy and say, well, buy this sign, or buy these tickets, or just buy some transactional media. And I was a brand manager. My job was I got to grow a business, and I'm not going to grow it at a fast enough rate with unaffiliated media. And so I was able to kind of take that insight, and we really did a lot of great, wonderful things back then at NASCAR around harnessing, measuring, and attacking the tremendous consumer loyalty that NASCAR fans have for sponsors in the sport. And so that's very measurable. We could action against that. We could plan, implement, and measure again and report back on performance. So it was a lot of fun to be able to go take those skills and put them on the sell side.
Yeah, and I was just going to ask, so you'd mentioned at P&G really getting that training, and in your day-to-day getting deep into consumer insights and having a lot of data to drive your decisions for growth. When you transitioned over to NASCAR, was that the depth of that thinking something new for them, and were you able to really see and do things differently at NASCAR?
It certainly was. I mean, I think this was in the late 90s, and so I think folks at NASCAR had a sense that NASCAR fans were a little different because of their support for the commercial sponsors of the sport, because those sponsors brought the sport to life. There was a real different understanding of the role of sponsorship, and so people were much more willing to change their purchasing decisions. And so I think there was a sense of that. I know there was a sense of that. What we were able to do was measure the heck out of it, do it with reputable third-party research, with research techniques that would stand up to any kind of scrutiny, and then bringing that to life in terms of showing the marketing opportunities for certain brands and categories in the sport versus the NASCAR fan versus all other fans. And then we built in the ability then for us to consult and advise, and on here's 5 or 6 different ways you should go do that. Now, that's an iterative process, but we really took it from here's just go buy this package to let's build a marketing platform together that will drive your business objectives.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a lot of fun, and look where NASCAR is today. So yeah, it really helped pave the way there. That's great.
Well, thank you.
All right, so we'll fast forward to the present right now, and let's talk about your role leading the Colts sales and marketing. And I'm sure it changes year over year, but maybe the past few years, just thinking about like, what is your North Star? What do you guys, you and your team, when you come to work every day, what are you trying to accomplish season over season?
Sure. I think the first thing we really think about is it starts with the fans. If we do our job for the fans, and I use that term very broadly because, certain fans engage with the Colts in a variety of different ways. But if we take care of the fans and grow the fans and deliver an amazing experience, the other stuff kind of takes care of itself, or at least lets you take care of it because you've got a robust, strong, viable fan base. So that manifests itself in a number of different ways, right? So a lot of it starts with measurement, right? Yeah. So we have an in-depth segmentation study that we've done. We've got measurements for each of those consumer segments. We have got the attitudes about those segments and what drives them. Their media consumption is different. Their game day experience is different. So we think about, we've got 3 targeted segments that we really go after. But having that as the base, and then obviously we're trying to, bring in new fans to those areas. But we're also taking casual fans and growing them into avid fans. And so we, first and foremost, we start with the fans, and that's what we think about. I think certain segments then pop out from that. So from a youth standpoint, youth marketing has been something we've been working on for the last probably 5 years. Yeah. It's never going to go away. There's most mature sports do want to continue to get younger, and so we've got a fairly significant budget and plan in place for youth marketing, and so that is something that's really, really important for us as well.
How does that come to life, some of the youth marketing? What does that look like?
Well, I think a lot of it comes from, and this may be non-traditional, but it starts with our mascot. So Blue has over 9 million followers on Instagram. It's the largest sports handle in the U.S.
Cool.
Over the 4th of July weekend, he had a video that hit 60 million views. And so it's just really compelling. And the story I like to tell is when I first got to the Colts in 2017, I went to the first game, and I just saw Blue walking down the sidelines before the game, and I said, it's magic. It's just magic what happened when everybody in the stands just go, Blue. And the other piece of that is we do anywhere from 50 to 100 free school shows every year with various grades, and it's all curriculum-based. It's not about promoting and selling the Colts. It's about doing your best, treating people with respect, education and reading, a number of different improvement areas. And when he rolls into a gymnasium full of 400 kids, it's just electric. And so we put a lot of effort and dollars behind really our mascot program. Now, beyond that, we've got tons of participation, flag football. We sponsor a flag football league, and we just announced that in Indiana 2 weeks ago. We've been supporting with the IHSAA on female flag. So we have 20 high schools now, and that qualifies as an emerging sport in Indiana. So participation at the grassroots level is probably the highest opportunity around creating football fans and obviously creating Colts fans.
Yeah, really smart. I like all those initiatives too, getting youth involved early.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. So everything that you're doing, creating this experience, ultimately this needs to translate into attendance and fan engagement. And just looking at some of the data from last year, pulled from ESPN for the 2023 season, all of your annual home games, about 522,000 fans last year, averaging about 65,000 per game. Lucas Oil caps at 67,000, so almost close to sellouts every single game. And then I looked over just the last 10 years where those attendance numbers stack up, and it's pretty good. It's fairly average for the last 10 years. That's kind of where you've been. Although I noticed this spike in 2021 where you had 562,000 fans that year, so about 40,000 more than your average or where you were last year. So what do you think led to that spike in 2021?
Yeah, I think a couple things. One is that was, I believe, the first year that the NFL went and reduced a preseason game and added a regular season game. And so now there's 17 regular season games. Every other year you'll have 9 regular season home games, and the other year is 8. So that was the year that we first started, and so our attendance and show rates are higher for regular season games and preseason. So that was one. And then the second, as you probably suspect, is, that's coming off of COVID. So the 2020 season, we had anywhere from, I think, 2,000 fans to up to 18,000, I think was our max. And so a lot of fans couldn't join us that year, and they rolled over their membership to the next year. And so I think that certainly has led to a little bit of a bump. But what I tell you is we're probably up to 28 now consecutive sellouts. So the sellout number is going to be less than full capacity, because the full capacity is obstructed seats and standing room only and other seats that we really don't want. We don't normally sell unless we're in a situation where there's demand for it, because it's just not as good of experience as the other ones. And so, again, I think we're up to 28 consecutive sellouts on grandstand seats. Our suites have been sold out now for 2.5 years. And so the market, there's a lot of anticipation in the market. We're all looking forward to the season.
That's awesome. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, just went over some of the attendance stats and numbers for last year. Now, considering a season-ending injury with Anthony Richardson, I think going down in week 5, considering that, first-round draft pick, star quarterback, future of the organization, how do you feel about your numbers for last year, considering that setback?
Right. I just think it's an enormous accomplishment for Coach Steichen. And really Chris Ballard. Chris for assembling the team and having the foresight to have Gardner Minshew as a backup quarterback. But then Coach Steichen and just being able to overcome adversity. I think it's one of the things that you see in football organizations is just the determination of just whatever gets thrown at you, you have to deal with. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be setbacks. There's going to be unexpected things. What they do is really, really hard. And they have this just enormous drive and determination to overcome. And so it's a credit to the entire organization, but I really give Chris and Coach Steichen a tremendous amount of credit for taking us literally to the last play of the game against Houston. Yeah. If that would have went our way, we actually would have hosted a home playoff game for the first time since I've been here. So, even with that setback, it was a really successful season, and I think certainly has led to the anticipation for this season.
So building off of that, star player goes down early in the season. What are some other factors that influence attendance for the Colts?
Yeah, I think we made a decision really probably pretty soon after I got here, was to continue to and invest in the game day experience. And we put a ton of resourcing, a ton of preparation, an enormous project for the entire building on what the game day presentation is like and what the whole game day experience is like. So it starts with tailgating in Touchdown Town. It's the bands, the music, the food and beverage specials before. When you walk into Lucas Oil Stadium, there's a high sense of excitement and emotion, bands, music, and again, more entertainment. And then when game day hits, it is an orchestrated dance. It's one of the most fascinating things I've seen is being in our state-of-the-art control room with about 25 to 30 people in there that bring a game day to life. And it's just an orchestrated ballet as we go through that delivers the game day, but also then adds on the other entertainment value in terms of music and promotions. And we've gotten to the point where you can just watch, and people will watch a game, and when the action on the field stops, it's like, okay, what am I going to see next? Yeah. And so we're really, really proud of that. We're highly rated in the NFL in terms of the game day experience. That's a quantitative measurement system that the NFL puts in place, and so we're very proud of that. And last year, we took about a week to kind of dust ourselves off, and 1 week after the season was over, we started planning for this year. It's an enormous effort, and so that's one of the biggest things that we do, at least for the game day experience. And then beyond that, for the rest of the fan base, it's really about fan engagement through events, fan engagements through content, through social and digital opportunities. We've got basically a full suite of agency capabilities in our content group with about an organization of 25 to 26 people producing, editing, finishing and distributing content across all channels.
Yeah, that's nice to have that resource in-house where you can do things quickly and, get it out at the volume it needs to be.
And authentically.
And authentically.
Nobody knows the Colts like our content team.
Really
and
good
so
point, yeah.
they've got the trust level with the team. They're available. They're in most times embedded with the team. And we know the team better than really any other media organization.
Well, what you were saying earlier, I mean, I've been to several dozens, 40, 50 Colts game over, the last several years, or maybe, last decade. But that energy, what you're talking about, when you walk in the front doors or whatever doors you're entering in at Lucas Oil, it just punches you in the face. You feel it right away. There's so much excitement. There's so much going on. It's just an atmosphere that feels like there's something special going on here.
Yeah.
So.
I think I would give a tremendous amount of credit to all the organizations that played a role in building Lucas Oil Stadium. We're blessed to have a enclosed stadium with a retractable roof. If the weather's nice, the roof and the window is open, and you've been there, it's an experience like nothing else. But otherwise, when the weather's bad, we've got a great place to be and experience it. But what that whole place has been designed in such a wonderful way, from the exterior to the interior to the audio to the lighting. We can really take full advantage of that and really pull together an exciting game day experience.
Absolutely. I love going. Let's talk about last year's season. You guys were fortunate to play in Germany. Mm-hmm. Love to hear a little bit about that experience, and we need to know, are there Colts fans in Frankfurt, Germany?
Sure. It really was an amazing experience. I think probably what I'd do is, as backdrop, I'd go back, is that the NFL started granting international marketing rights to teams, which means a team can go in and consciously and visibly market to the fans there. In the U.S., we have a marketing area that's predominantly the state of Indiana, but not exactly right, and that's where we market. So the teams can kind of cooperate and have their own areas to go after. For the first 2 years, we looked at that and made an assessment that we weren't ready to do that. We had some issues that we still needed to work here domestically, but as we've talked about, the business now is very robust. We've got the right staffing in place, the right technology in place, so the business is really strong. So this was the year to expand. And we did that after we went over and played in Germany. The data shows, football development in Germany far exceeds, for instance, the UK. And the NFL's been playing in the UK for 20 years longer. There's such an affinity in Germany for American football. Now, 10 NFL teams have marketing rights now in Germany. That's one of the biggest reasons, because it's just a football-thirsty country. But we had the opportunity to go over last year. We went over and had just an amazing experience. Our limited allotment of tickets that we had that we could sell here, I think, sold out in 20 minutes. The tickets over in Germany sold out very quickly as well, in a matter of hours. The game day experience was just passionate, exciting. It was a really good experience, and you could just see how much passion there is for American football in Germany. And so that's why we chose to apply for and were granted marketing rights in Germany and Austria. And that's going to be our first foray into the international area. We've been busy kind of building the infrastructure, crafting relationships with 2 or 3 different agencies over in Germany. And we're going to get after this thing. Now, we're in it for the long haul. We know it's going to take time, but we're going to do it the right way.
Yeah, and I saw when I was doing research for this discussion today, the Colts are hiring a director of international. Is this person's going to lead the efforts over there, and are they going to be positioned over in Germany, or?
Well, we've hired Ben, so he started this week, and so I think early on it will be here. I think the job, we're going to rely upon our agency relationships over in Germany to help us with culture and humor and all the things that are appropriate to marketing to German sports fans, because one of the things we want to do, we have to be authentic and we have to be real. And so we're going to it'll be housed here in the U.S. and at some point in time, do we start up an office over there? I don't know, but I think if we did, that's probably a few years down the line.
Gotcha. Well, that's great. I love hearing about that experience and just continued growth, growing not only the Colts, but football and the NFL all across the world, really.
Yeah, you can see what other sports have done. The NBA's done a wonderful job on international expansion. The NFL's been playing international games for 20 to 25 years, but has really coalesced on this idea of the international series. I think are going from 4 or 5 international games to eventually 10. New markets are coming online, Brazil, Spain. So you can see there's real traction for American football across the world, and it's exciting to play a small part in that.
Yeah. Congrats. Describe the Colts brand. What's when you're creating your brand positioning and your purpose, what position are you trying to have in your fans' hearts and minds?
Sure. I think really we did some work a number of years ago around our mission statement, and it's to entertain, inspire, and unite by winning the right way. And so that we think that really kind of articulates what we're trying to do, right? We know we're about entertainment, and we know that entertainment has the ability to inspire our fans, and if we do it right, as we inspire those fans, we unite them together. And one of the biggest things that's really important to the Irsay family, and you can see it in Chris when he talks about, and Coach Steichen, in terms of assembling the roster and training and coaching the players, we're going to do these the right way. I mean, we're going to be a tough team. I mean, football's a tough sport, but you can do those things and just do it the right way. And so I think that's a little bit of from a marketing standpoint, a little differentiating factor for us against the other NFL teams.
Yeah.
And it's something that's really important to us, and so that's kind of what we want really people to think about.
Yeah, and I think it's crucial that you have those 3 pillars, right? And everything sort of has to ladder up to those pillars to be authentic to your brand. How are you activating it in your marketing strategy, your ad campaigns, out in the community, and then within the stadium experience?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you certainly take those exactly as you say. It kind of forms and informs all your marketing communication in terms of style and tone. We're going to be respectful. I mean, we're going to have fun, but we're going to do these things. We're going to do things the right way. I think we feel like we've done that in a fairly compelling way. We're one of the few teams that's mostly gender neutral. Most teams will be 55 to 58 to 60% male. We're going to be more like 52, 51, 49, 48. So we're very gender neutral, and one of our beliefs is that it's because we present a family-friendly opportunity, an experience. Our game day experiences, and this is a credit to our fans, is very polite. We don't have the ejection issues. We don't have the fighting issues that some of the other NFL teams. And again, I think it's a credit to the brand, it's a credit to the fan base, and it's a credit to the game day experience.
Yeah, it is a really pleasant experience. Exciting, but it's it's safe. You feel safe there for sure.
But if you go to a game and you pick a team that maybe isn't, that when they come to town, it's a different thing. I mean, we know when there's certain teams that come to town, we don't increase staffing because we have enough staffing for every game, but the security staffing, and it's a little heightened. Yeah. More heightened urgency, if you will, in how we respond.
I've felt that experience at a few games as well. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, for sure. So the marketing playbook this year and previous years, how much are you leaning into the star power of some of your players? Anthony Richardson, first-round draft pick, Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman Jr. How does the playbook lean into the current star power?
Sure, it's a great question. I think I go back to certainly players' personalities is really a motivating factor for many of our fans. Fans certainly follow and are attracted to the Indianapolis Colts, but the players bring that to life, and so they're very important. We market with as many of our players as we can. The unique piece about those 3 athletes that you talked about is it's very consistent with our plans to grow at the youth level. They're younger, they're dynamic, big personalities, and again, good dudes. But they're very effective and play a big role in our youth marketing efforts because they are that dynamic thing that can make a difference in younger people's fandom.
That must just present such an opportunity for you and your team when you have these athletes who are truly stars, but also willing and want to participate in the community and with youth, and help guide and shape their lives as well. What a valuable asset to have.
It is. There's a couple things there. One is on the community side. I mean, we spend a tremendous amount of effort on the community. In fact, the Irsays are very involved in that as well. And so we have a very great relationship with the players and supporting the community efforts that they want to be involved in, as well as them participating and in the avenues that we provide. So that all works together, and you can see many of these players take that to heart. I think the other thing is you're seeing younger players come out that are more media savvy, more comfortable with social media. and have good stories. And so that is a great opportunity for us to work with them to tell their stories, and for all of us then to distribute those stories out through all kinds of channels. And so it's one of the things that we've seen as the players and the athletes are, again, more in tune with current media trends. It's fun to work with folks like that.
So the social media makes sense because these younger players have had social media for most of their lives and they're very savvy with it. But in terms of the media training, speaking to the media, where does that come from with the younger generation? Are they getting more opportunities in training at the college level?
Well, they certainly are at the college, because if you think about, without getting into all the details around NIL, but the stars in college have the opportunity now to make endorsement money through name, image, and likeness. One of the best ways they do that is through their own social media accounts. So they're beginning to learn that much earlier when it has a financial impact on them. So they're coming out of school far more savvy in that area, and it just makes the transition even easier. Now, when they get to the NFL, I mean, we have programs in place. The NFL has programs in place. The NFLPA, the Players Association, and their agents have programs in place to help with that transition all the way, from, PR, how to move to a new area, getting acclimated, talking to the press, all those things. So there's it's a multifaceted layer of a number of programs that help them with that transition.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So wrapping up here a little bit, what is in your playbook for 2024 from a marketing perspective, from an advertising perspective? What should fans look forward to seeing from you guys?
Sure, that's a great question. One, we're really excited about training camp. We'll open up training camp next week. So, that's when players are putting pads on, and that's when the football season, the start of the season, is just around the corner. So we're excited about that. What would I say? One, we're already sold out of season tickets for this year. And so we have a few single game tickets and some group tickets available. Our premium seating is all sold out. So from a business standpoint, we're well prepared to go into the season. And I think that lets us then be very, again, focused on the game day experience. We will announce new food and beverage offerings for the year. We've got a culinary showcase that we hold down at the stadium, where we invite media to come in along with suite holders to come in and test and sample the new offerings. There'll be a tremendous amount of preseason marketing that hits. It's in the preseason time when we have a heavy up in marketing. You'll see a few iconic things that pop up. JW Marriott is one that's a part of our routine marketing, and so we're excited to unveil what we're going to do there for the start of the season.
Cool! I can't wait.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
But we're going to return a lot of the favorites. Touchdown Town, even stronger game day experience, even more music. We're relocating and involving our game day DJ even more up on the Lucas Oil Plaza when you walk in. We've got a tradition at the start of the game where we have a guest celebrity hit the anvil to kind of start it. We're going to relocate that on the main stage as well, so that'll be more front and center. But again, a lot of these ideas we've been working on since last January.
Yeah, love it. I can't wait for the upcoming season. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I always love seeing what pops up on the JW Marriott, so we'll keep our eyes out. Maybe we'll do a follow-up to this podcast episode on our social media or something. It's great. All right, second to last question. What impact do you hope that Colts and Colts football can have on the world?
Yep. I think this isn't only just my idea. In fact, Commissioner Goodell said it, I think, 2 or 3 days ago. But, the world at times, especially today, can be a little fragmented, right, and have strong views and maybe conflicts that arise from that, particularly given what's just happened. But Commissioner Goodell talked about how sports can be a uniter. And if you think about what we're trying to do, we're trying to entertain, inspire and unite. All those things kind of work together. And so we like it when people can come to the game and just say, you know what, I'm going to enjoy football. I'm going to watch football on TV. I'm going to come to the game, and I'm going to enjoy football, and I'm going to be part of this community. So we really see our role. We're blessed to be able to be more of a uniter and a collaborator and an integrator. And so that's our hope, is that we bring people together and they follow something that's really important to them, and we're just pleased to be able to bring it to life for them.
That's a really nice answer, because I ask this question in every episode of the podcast, and you ask someone what impact do you hope your brand can make on the world. That's big, and what you're saying about bring people together, unite people, have some fun being passionate about following your team, following sports. I mean, it's real and it's authentic.
Yep.
And yeah, that's a great answer.
Good.
Well, Roger, thank you so much for the conversation today. We're really looking forward to the upcoming season. Very insightful. We learned a lot about you and the Colts and what you guys are up to. So again, thanks a lot. And I'll just end with, where should our fans go to learn more about what's coming up this season, what to expect for the Colts in 2024?
Sure. Well, I'd say obviously our website's a great place to go. Follow our social media channels. We pride ourselves on being great storytellers, both in the short form and the long form. It brings out perhaps more of the backstories, behind the scenes, brings the athletes to get out in terms of their real stories and personalities. So follow us on socials, and those are really two great ways to do that.
Awesome. Thanks again, Roger.
Great.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Justin.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Wow, that was a great discussion. Thanks for this great conversation, Roger. And thanks to all of you for watching or listening. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow the Mindful Bullhorn on your favorite podcast platform. See you next time. Go Colts.